Welcome back to Project 613. Yesterday we spoke about one of the 10 commandments where it says, Lo tachmod, do not covet your neighbor's house or his possessions. But we all know that the 10 commandments are repeated twice in the Torah. And there are a number of variations between the first version in the book of Exodus and the second version in the book of Deuteronomy. Now, one of the variations is when it comes to this mitzvah. By this mitzvah, which is one of the 10 commandments of Lo tachmod, in the first version in Exodus, it only says Lo tachmod, as we learned yesterday. It means not to covet your neighbor's house or his possessions. And as we explained yesterday, one only violates this prohibition if one not only had a desire for their friend's possession or for their property, but went so far as to put a plan into action of how to obtain it and actually convinced his friend to sell it to him or put pressure on him or send friends and ended up acquiring it or ended up purchasing it or somehow getting hold of his friend's possession, even if it was done in a technically legal way. That would be a violation of the mitzvah that we learned yesterday, Lo tachmod. However, in the second version of the 10 commandments, there is an additional description in this one, in the list of 10. In addition to Lo tachmod, it also says Lo titaveh, which also could be translated as not to desire your friend's property or your friend's wife or your friend's possessions. But the fact that an additional word is used besides for Lo tachmod, we learn from here that there is actually an additional independent prohibition. And what is that? What's the difference between Lo tachmod, which we learned yesterday, and Lo titaveh, which we learned today, which we learned specifically from the second version of the 10 commandments? The answer is that Lo titaveh means that it's for one violates this commandment even if they did not manage to obtain that possession or that property of their friend. But if they just had the desire and contemplated how they would be able to get it, even if they didn't end up getting their hands on it, that would already be a violation of this prohibition. That is the prohibition of Lo titaveh, of not desiring. So in addition, in a way, this is in addition to what we learned yesterday. Not only is the prohibition actually managing to obtain the object or the property that belongs to your friend, that was yesterday's prohibition. In addition to that, one violates an additional prohibition for just having the feelings and trying to plan to see how it would be possible to get one's hands on it. Maimonides tells us that if we want to understand how bad desiring your friend's things are and what it could lead to, then one should contemplate the story of the notorious King Achav and his evil wife Izebel, where we have a story that Achav was jealous of a man's field, and because even an offer that he put in was not accepted, in the end, through the help of his wife Jezebel, false witnesses were hired to testify that this individual, the owner of the field, had rebelled against the king, and therefore this man was put to death. Just that way, Achav and Izebel could lay their hands on this person's field. The Rambam tells us, we see from here how one thing can lead to the next, and that's why the Torah prohibits jealousy. And jealousy is actually very much linked with theft and even murder, because when one is jealous, when one desires their friend's property, that will end up causing one to plan to get it. If they don't manage to get it, they may end up stealing it, and if they don't steal it, that could even lead to murder, as we see in the case of Achav and Izebel. So this is why the Torah prohibits desiring someone else's property or their possessions or their wife. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.